I want you all to meet a friend of mine, and his name is Montrell Page, better known as Mo Money. And he's come tonight just to give you kind of an understanding. You're a student at Georgetown College, getting ready to graduate here in the spring semester, the end of this semester. But just for the 98% of people in the room who don't know you, tell us about yourself and just help us get to know you.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm finishing up college. I'm about to graduate this year, and I'm actually about to be engaged. Or I got engaged, but I'm about to get married in December. So my fiance would be here, but she's at a tennis tournament right now. Just growing up, so I was adopted at 8 months. I was in foster care. My birth mom had 11 kids. I was number 10. Me and my 3 brothers we were adopted by the parents we have now, by God's grace. I mean, he got us out of a bad situation and turned it into good. It was so bad, just to give you like a little hint of what's going on is, so with being in foster care, like you have to stay with your birth mom like over the weekend or whatever. So when our dad, or our adopted dad now, when he dropped us off, when he came pick us up, like at the end of the week, our diapers hasn't been changed, like nothing, we haven't been taken care of, like just that whole week, like so, like by God's grace that I got adopted, and so.
So from Mount Washington, Bullitt County, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I met Mo in October, or I guess no, it would have been July of 2019. It was the fall of your senior year of high school. And this is a picture from that year playing football for Bullitt East, and I got to coach you that year, and instantly recognized that you were a person of character and someone that I was excited to watch going into the next stage of your life. Mo, one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life is a story I tell about you all the time when it comes to my experience coaching football. We were playing at Fern Creek High School in the first round of the playoffs, and Mo's a running back, and so Mo plays, he's not just standing on the sideline. He's moving, and his feet are moving. He's not standing still. And it was one of, if not the coldest football games I've ever coached in my life. And Mo comes over to me at halftime, and he says, "Coach, my feet are cold." And I said, "Well, honey, we're all cold." He said, "No, my feet are cold." And so he takes off his cleat and peels back your sock, and there was ice on the bottom of your feet. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in 7 years coaching football is you with ice on the bottom of your feet. But anyway, so I met you then and was quickly noticed about you that you're a person of character. And tonight, what really we wanted to bring you here, and the conversation we wanted you to have with our students is one about your faith, one that through your life story you've experienced a lot of different things. There's been challenges to that, and then kind of to encourage our students that when they step into the next stage of life, that they would have a faith that's strong enough to carry them. But first, we're born, adopted, and we're growing up. Tell us about some of the challenges that you faced in your faith journey through middle and high school. So as you progressed and kind of grew up.
Yeah, so I grew up in the church, but through middle school and high school, I was struggling with my identity. I was getting bullied a lot for being black. Like in the community that we were in, there's not many black people around, so it was really hard because I was trying to be like everybody else, and I was like, well, why can't I like? So for an instance, like in 8th grade, I was going on a dance with this girl, and she's like, well, you can't go with me now because my dad doesn't like black people, so you can't sing with me. So like right then and there, I was like, I don't want to be black no more. Like I don't even, like, it was like totally, and like so grace to be to my dad. Like he always instilled like verses and stuff. So like when I got in trouble when I was a kid, my dad would tell me, oh, you instead of like doing stuff, we have to write verses and stuff. So like, and one thing that stuck to me was Romans it talks about do not be conformed by this world, but be transformed. And so then I was like, okay, don't be like everybody else. You're not supposed to be like everybody else anyways. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh. And then also rejoice in the struggle. That's what God says. So I'm like, oh, so I'm not supposed to be like anybody else anyways. And you said I'm loved. And so if I'm a child of you, I don't really care what anybody else says. So I was going into school like walking now like boldly, like I'm a child of God, so nothing can shake me. So.
Man, I can imagine that coming out of circumstances of your early life. Of course, you've got great parents that love you and are wonderful people, but still there are things that you carry with you, and learning to embrace who God made you. And of course, for minorities in our country, that can be a struggle, because when you're not part of the majority, you can feel different, or you can feel pointed out, or what you felt, that even this thing that God made me as is not what I want to be, is not who I want to be. And learning to accept who God has made us, and even love and embrace who God has made us, is such a powerful thing, and such a freeing thing. And man, that's well, thank you for sharing that, and that's really cool. So, another story about you. A few months ago, I had reached out to you, had not exactly planned out this series or what this night would look like, but your name came up to someone here in Harrodsburg, and I was actually on campus at Campbellsville Harrodsburg. Have I told you this story?
Yeah,
I have told you this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And one of the young ladies who's a student at Campbellsville Harrodsburg piped up and said, "Oh, I know that guy." And instantaneously, full transparency, my thought was, what is she about to say? Like, what is she about to completely ruin everything that I knew about Mo? Because here's the truth, there's a certain way people act a lot of the times around youth pastors and church folk, and maybe they're a different person. But she goes, "Yeah, I met that guy, and I was at this thing, and he was sitting there talking to me, and he just kept talking about Jesus, and he told me about what Jesus has done in his life, and how much he loves God, and how excited he is for what God's doing in his life." And she said he just went on and on and on and on and on and on about Jesus. And here's why I tell that story, Mo, is because my goal for our students is when they leave their home, when they leave this place, when they're no longer a part of a student ministry, my heart, my goal for them is that people would say that about them. That, man, that guy, that girl, they love Jesus. They've got something about them that's been authentically changed. But that when kids grow up in a church environment, oftentimes they go to college, they go into the workforce, they go into the next stage of life, and they leave that faith, or they lose that faith, or the things of this world begin to distract them and kind of call them away from that thing. So as someone who grew up in faith and then has kind of gone into the next stage of your life, went to play football at Georgetown College, got a picture of you there, what do you think are the causes of people going to the next level in life, whatever that looks like for them? What causes us to kind of lose our faith in moments like that?
Well, for me personally, I'm not perfect at all. At all. I'm just as broken as everybody here, but that's the good thing about Christ, is his grace. I can come here and talk to y'all today confidently knowing, that I'm still saved and I'm still his child, even though through my mistakes. But through my freshman year, it was I was trying to put my faith in myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like that's a lot of things. We try to okay, thank you guys for getting me here. Thank you guys for making me play football. I'm good now. See you. You know what I'm saying? And so many times it's I keep on thinking about the story of Peter walking on water with Jesus. I'm Peter. Because, so they're on the boat. If you don't know the story, they're on the boat. And Jesus tells them I'll meet you on the other side, whatever. And then so halfway there's storms that are contrary to which way they're trying to get to. And then Jesus is there standing on water while the storms are going. And Peter's "Hey, God, is that you? And I was "Yeah, come on." And he's the only one that had faith in the boat to get on there. And so when he fixed his eyes on Jesus, he was walking on water. But as soon as he takes his eyes off of Jesus, he started drowning. But when he called for Jesus, immediately Jesus came and helped him up. And so I feel for me, it was I would hear all these storms and oh, what's the worldly views? And you get you got Satan right there on the phone, creeping in and stuff. So it's you have to fix your eyes on Jesus so you won't be shooken.
Yeah. Man, I think that's really good that we are in some ways, all of us, and I know that in middle school and high school, now more than ever, there's opportunity for temptation. And I don't want to understate that. There's opportunity for distraction, and that our schools are not necessarily places that cultivate our faith. But even more so, when we step into that next stage of our life, there's those distractions. There's those winds and waves and storms, and it's so easy to think, well, I can rely on myself. I can depend on myself, that I can get myself through this. And so often, I believe that you're right, that a faith that crumbles is one that's self-reliant, and it's dependent on self. So help us, give us advice. How do we not fall into the trap of faith that fizzles, of going in the next stage of our life, college, career, stepping into high school maybe in the fall, and our faith staying strong and keeping our eyes on Jesus? How do we do that practically?
For me, it was, I had to dive daily in His Word. I had to die to myself daily. Like, because you go to Sunday, you go to like Wednesday nights or Sunday nights. It's not like, okay, Wednesday nights, Sunday nights, I'm with God, we cool. No, it's every single day. So like, especially in college, because you got, Satan around the corner everywhere you go. So like for me, it was like I had to dive daily and walk in the Spirit and like listening and doing. And like one of the verses that really like hold on to me, like I go to all the time, is Galatians 5:16 through 18, where it says, so I say, walk by the Spirit, you not gratify the desires of the flesh. So like he's saying, walk by the Spirit. So like walk with me, like read in His Word, dive in His Word, get to know Him. And so you will not gratify the desires of the Spirit, because the flesh desires is what's contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit contrary to the flesh. And so like in that verse, I'm like, all right, I'm going to dive daily into His Word. And so when all this trouble comes, that I'm, founded on the base through Christ. And another verse is, it says, put on the forearmor of God so you can withstand the schemes of the devil. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers and authorities, and against the powers of the dark world, against the spiritual forces in evil in heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the forearmor of God, so you can stand the schemes of the devil. So, yeah. Yeah,
I think that, you said two really great things there, that there's a daily, continual aspect to this, right? That so often we boil a walk with Jesus down to, what did you do last Sunday morning? Or what are you doing this Wednesday night? And, a faith that has the power and the strength to last in seasons of trial, in moments of challenge and shifting times is one that's founded on a daily relationship with Jesus. And, you think about putting on armor. That's something that's intentional. It's something that's planned. You don't just show up to battle and think I'll wear whatever I got on. That if I'm gonna show up to play a sport, I'm gonna put on the uniform. If I'm gonna show up to battle, I'm gonna put on some armor. If I'm gonna show up to school, I might bring a Chromebook, or I don't know if y'all still use a pencil or something like that. I'm going to come prepared for the task that's before me. And I think that so often where our faith breaks down is in moments where we don't come prepared for the fight, where we don't put intention and thought into what we're doing. So this is all really, really good. And I think that's really practical, that we have a daily faith. But maybe for a student who they're here, and that might be because a friend invited them. That might be because mom and dad make them come. That might be because they think it's a good thing to do, or there's free pizza or whatever. What would you encourage them, or what would be something you would say to them about having a faith that's really yours? Because I think one of the other challenges is, we might have mom and dad make me go to church, or my friends invite me to church, but a faith that lasts is one that's personal. So what would be an encouragement to maybe somebody who's considering, do I really want this? Do I really believe this? Is this really worth it? What would be your encouragement to them?
It's 100% worth it. It changed my life. I would say, like, for those, you said that, like the ones that are here, like that might not know Christ, is that you don't have to get clean to come to Him. Like, you don't have to do all this stuff to come. He wants you as you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, come to like surrender everything. Like, Lord, this is me. I can't do it without you. Like, cause there's gonna be a point in your life where your back's up against the wall, and God's just like, I've been waiting for you. I'm right here. Just call on me. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be saved. That's what he says. Call on your name, Lord. And
yeah. I think about, the story you shared earlier about, when Peter walks on water, he keeps his eyes on Jesus.
Yeah.
But then he takes his eyes off Jesus and he starts sinking.
drowning.
But immediately, when he cries out for help, what does Jesus do? Grabs him and pulls him up to safety and to wholeness. Mo, I'm grateful for your example. And the reason why is, nobody's a perfect person. But I really do believe in this generation. I believe in you. I believe in these young people. I believe in so many things that God is doing in this generation. And your testimony is one that says it is possible. Yeah. It is possible to go to school and not walk away from your faith. It is possible that you don't have to live the party lifestyle. You don't have to give yourself to the world. And you don't have to test it all out and find out what it's about before you come back to God. Our last picture of you is of you and your fiance. Y'all getting married December the 5th. Is that what you said? 14th?
Yeah.
14th. I knew start at 4 or 5. So December the 15th, 14th, 14th. You said 14th. I'll get it right in a second. You get married. You have a life that maybe you didn't even plan for. And I think back to how far God has brought you. To the stories you shared from your early childhood and the challenge that was, and then learning to accept who God had made you even and have confidence in that to where you are now and things I saw glimpses of even in high school that I get to celebrate now. But man, do you just straight up, do you regret living for Jesus? Has it been worth it? Do you feel like, man, I wish I had gone to that thing, or I wish I had tried this, or I wish I had done that? Do you feel like you missed out on anything?
No, but I do say sin's fun. It's supposed to, like, that's how the devil wants it to be, like, it's all fun, but you can find joy in the things not of like Satan, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what God says. It's like you'll find joy in me, like you'll find peace, because if you can't live both. You can't be over both fences. You can't be lukewarm. You got to be either hot or cold. You have to live for Christ because you can't be both. Because even for me personally, it's before I made mistakes. That's why I know. That's why I've talked to you today, because I made those mistakes. And I know I have to put my trust in God and not put my trust in things of this world.
Yeah, man. As we get ready to wrap up and go to our groups, I am so encouraged, and my belief is so strong that God is still working in the hearts of young people, and that God is doing something very special in our world and in this generation. And people like you give me a lot of hope. I'm thankful for your example. I'm thankful for your heart, and I'm thankful for the ways that you're letting God use you. Before we close, would you take just a second and would you pray for those here? Pray for them as they experience and grow in their walk with Jesus. Would you pray that they would, in the next several years of their life, gain that confidence in who God has made them and stand in that strength like He's done for you. And then also as they step into the next stage of their life, whatever that looks like, college or trade school or career, that they would have a faith that would last and that they would even grow and deepen in that into the next stage of life. Would you pray for us?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's pray.
All right, dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here and share your word and the things that you've done in my life, Lord. And I pray for these kids who, in the next few years of their life, whatever they're going to do, Lord, that they put their trust in you, that they put their faith in you, not of themselves, Lord, that they dive daily into your word, Lord, and they understand that there's going to be struggle, that there's going to be storms coming, but to keep our eyes focused on you, Lord. And I thank you for the rest of the day, and amen.
Amen.